I want to call you all out. Can you make 50 games in one day? If you make a video like this, I will link it in the end card of this video. I doubt any of you will be brave enough, but the offer stands.
Only 50? That's for losers. I am not a loser. I will make 51 games in one day. So, let's start.
First, what I had done is going to the site Colors Inspo. Visited the site with color palettes, so I looked around and found something for all of my 51 games. In this palette was only white, grey, black and red colors, so a little bit later I added a yellow color. After that, I started creating my first level. It was extremely unique and complicated level, as you can see, and after a while it looks like this. Amazing, I know. Then I did some extreme coding. I created scripts for movement and spawning food, and that was the result. A game where you are walking around and eat strange yellow squares to survive, otherwise you lose all your points. It would be all great if I didn't spend on this twice as many time as I expected. By this time I was wondering, if it's possible for me, can I even make it? But then I thought, I have so many created games that I can make this challenge. After all, I decided not to give up, because it's obvious that I wouldn't make my first games fast because I didn't have any preparations. It would be so lame. Only losers would have some preparations.
I did some preparations for this challenge. I've already prepared a couple of materials. I've imported a couple of scripts because speed matters here.
To make next game, I decided to copy this one to save some time, and I called it Aggressive Square. This game was all about dodging enemy. Only one enemy. I did not have any script for spawning enemies yet. After that, I decided to copy my game again, and that is how Aggressive Square 3D was created. At the beginning it was supposed to be Hungry Square 3D, but I changed my mind. I don't remember why. Now I can write in the comments, wow, you are amazing and so original. I don't know anybody who has 3 games and 2 out of them were copies of previous one. So awesome. My 4th game was a little more creative. I started to creating a level for it. It was an obstacle course 3D with really advanced physics, and it looks awesome. Then I tried to beat it. I went really slow to balance the cube on the strange edge. Next were ramps and I easy beat them. And then was a harder moment. I was still thinking this level is so cool. After the 4th attempt, I started to think, this level sucks! At this moment, no one expected that was a time for
the most exciting game ever created.
It was Clicker. After so amazing game, I was exhausted with being original, so I copied the first game for the 3rd time and changed some movement and added some gravity. Honestly, it was so much more funny. Thanks to this game, another idea came to my mind. What if, instead of collecting food, we have some enemies? So I added one very intelligent walking AI and made him spawn and shoot at me. There was another interesting mechanic too. It was destroying enemies by touch. After this game, I finally have created spawning script. I had a unique idea how to use it, so I created a game called Deadly Rain. It was all about dodging spheres, which were falling down. It was one of my more pleasant to play games. After this many games, I decided to create a sequel of previous hit. Decided to create second,
the most exciting game ever created.
As you can see, this sequel is much more advanced than the first game of this series. The following game was just been an obstacle course again, but with the new physics features like bouncy floor. Now you are probably thinking that this is another the most exciting game ever, but this is not. This is just normal tower defense game where we click all upcoming enemies. Do you remember game about shooting enemies from the start of the video? I changed it a little to simple platformer game. Our goal is to reach end of the level. Another game was about balloon flight. We had to avoid strange obstacles and enemies' bullets. It was perfect, it has no bugs. What? The strange spinning? It was fully intentional. I did it for realism. You know, helicopters and that kind of crap. After that, I created a floppy part. And next, a game that was supposed to imitate Fruit Ninja. And then comes amazing game about protecting Jimmy and Rebecca. They are really happy with their lives, because we protect them. I said they are really happy with their lives. Okay, now it's better. Next game was Clone of Ice Tower. Then some driving car game. Then driving car 3D game. After that, there was a game like driving car 3D, with better obstacles and some way to die, and with cube movement. And then I returned to the beginnings and created aggressive square but with shooting mechanic, so we could shoot enemies instead of walking into them. At this moment I want to really save my time, so I created two very different games. The first one consisted of clicking the buttons from the smallest to the largest, and the second one from the largest to the smallest. Very different. Then I created a game about destroying blocks, and the next one, yes, you guessed, it was about creating blocks. The next one was shooter but from other perspective, so as you can see, the later the game, the more creative it is. After so many hours in front of the computer, I start to miss the sports. Not really, I don't like sports. So I decided to create a basketball game. I'm so into sports that I created not one, but two games about basketball. The second one has bouncy balls. We have to bounce them to the basket. Easy. I remember a game where you were building a high-rise, so I tried to copy it too because it seemed to be simple. Next game, I have to say this, was awesome. I really liked this one. It was aggressive square, but with spawning enemies, and what is more important, we were moving by mouse. It was so much funnier than previous one games. Then I created some other less interesting games, for example about escaping a maze, and some easy click in good moment game. I would call it music game, but it has no music. The following game was similar to the Deadly Rain, but it has another way to spawn object. The next two games was a little bit inspired by two previous ones, block creating game and block destroying game. I recreated these games, but in 3D. I was really fed up with small games, so then I created 2D open world RPG about Danny. After this amazing game, I climbed to the top of the creativity. I made Ice Tower 2.5D, Ice Tower 3D, and another game about clicking buttons in the sequence, and this time from the darkest to the brightest, and the second one, really original game about clicking buttons from the brightest to the darkest. The next game was about shooting enemies, but it has a unique mechanic. We are shooting bullets and these bullets are bouncing off the wall. So now this is more tricky to shoot the enemies. And that is our goal. After this game I really missed 3D, so I recreate Floppy Bird but in 3D. After that I remade Hunger Square but from other perspectives, so it was kinda 2.5D. This game was very hard. Or maybe hard for darters, because this game is about segregating blocks by their color. The next game had the same system with moving blocks by mouse. We had to build tower and part of it has to touching the white square. It has to be kinda stable tower, but not really. This game required some imagination. You have to imagine that every square in this game is a car, and you will have some driving game. After that I recreate a platformer game, but change some destinations. For example, in this game you don't have to avoid enemies, but collect all the points. By now I had one similar game in strange perspective, and it was Hunger Square, so I decided to do the same with Aggressive Square, because why not? Then, to the series of sequencing games, I added 2 other hits. This time, not brightness or size helping us with correct choices, but saturation. And it was a lot harder, I know it from my experience. And the last game is very epic, original and different from others. It's very unique and special. And that's why it won't be in this video. Okay, I won't be so evil. And this game is almost the same as the first one. I went to the roots and create almost the same game, but it has mouse movement, so it's much better and much more pleasant to play. It was very fun challenge. I feel awesome because I managed to do this. And that was very hard, really. And I think I improved a lot by doing this. So it was great experience. Hold on and see you soon in another video. Bye!